Hey y'all, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here with me and continuing to listen to me prattle on and watch my videos. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you decide to stay and subscribe. I'd love to have you. My name is Sarah, and today we're gonna do part 2 of the paranormal series. The first story I want to talk about is from a nurse we'll call Judd. We'll call him Judd. He was working nights, and a patient was being admitted to his floor from the emergency room around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. The orderlies were, rolling him on the gurney, getting ready to put him in a room, and the patient starts freaking out. And this guy, Judd said this guy was like alert, oriented. He wasn't like under the influence or anything like that. Completely coherent. This guy starts freaking out, and he's asking Judd and the guys that are pushing the gurney, like, get me out of this room. Can't you see him? Don't you see him? I'm not staying in this room. Get me out of this room. And he's like, like scooching back on the stretcher, like he's terrified. And he's like, I will not stay in this room. I need a room that is like as far away from this room as possible. And so Judd's like, no problem. We'll get you another room. So Judd gets him settled in another room, and he's calmed down, and he's fine now that he's in this other room. So Judd works his night shift, and there's no more like incidents or anything. The guy's fine now that he's in a different room. Well, later in the morning, before he left, after his shift was over, Judd asked the guy, he's like, who did you see in that room? Like, who did you see? What scared you so bad? What did you see? And the guy told him, y'all need to get that room exorcised, because there is, apparently, the guy said he saw a dead man in his late 40s, and he was very mean, just hateful looking, and he was telling this patient that he did not like other men being in his room, and he needed to get out or he was gonna regret it. And that's why he was like, I gotta get me out of this room. And Judd said that it just so happened that particular room, no matter if it was winter or summer, it was always freezing cold. Colder than any other room, the nurse's station, anywhere else on that whole floor. It was freezing in there. And the lights, he said the lights would just turn on and off, just on and off by themselves, just no reason, just on and off. Just that one room. Ooh, no sir. You got to get up out this room. You got to go. You can't be scaring patients. You got to go. This story was told to me by, we'll call her Kristen. She worked as a CNA, which is a certified nursing assistant or certified nursing aide. I don't know what they call them nowadays, but anyway. This is another long-term care facility. She was called to work on a floor that she normally didn't work on because they were short-staffed, and it was around 2 o'clock in the morning, and she sees a man dressed really nicely come out of a patient's room, walk down the hall, walk outside, and leave. And she's like, it is not visiting hours at 2 o'clock in the morning. What is going on? So she goes in the room the man came out of, and it was a lady's room. It was a 102-year-old lady, another 102-year-old. And she was awake. The patient was awake. And Kristen asked her, she was like, who just left your room? And she's like, oh, that was my husband. He always comes to see me late at night. And she's like, Kristen's like, oh, okay. Thinking like, must not be a big deal. Must just be something that happens all the time. So she finds the other CNA that always works on that floor. And she just kind of mentioned it to her. She was just like, is that normal? Like, does this normally happen? And she's like, oh, don't pay attention to her. She's, you know, she's 102 and her husband died like 20 or 30 years ago. And Kristen's like, I swear to you, like on my children, I saw an actual person walk out of her room and down the hall. Like, I can tell you what he was wearing. Kind of sweet. Kind of sweet. But I'd probably still be terrified. Okay, this story. This story is from an RN we'll call Shelly. And at the time of the story, Shelly worked on a very busy pediatric wing of a hospital. That night, she had a new patient, a baby, that had had open heart surgery. So she went to go check on him. And when she walked in, he was like wiggling around and flailing his arms, and he was unswaddled, and the lights were on, and you know, he was screaming bloody murder, which not unusual for a baby that's waking up, you know, especially one that had open heart surgery. Not unusual. What was unusual was that the TV was blaring at top volume. Nobody was in the room but her and the baby. So she turns the TV off and she tends to the baby. She gives him his pain meds. She feeds him. She rocks him back to sleep. Swaddles him all up. And y'all who have babies, y'all know them swaddles work so well. I had one of those Swaddle Me. I think that was the brand of it when my child was a baby. Worked, she could not sleep without it. Anyway, swaddled the baby back up, made sure he was good and snuggled in and sleeping and comfortable and all that. And she left to go check on another patient, and about 20 minutes later she cruises back by that baby's room. The lights are on, the TV's blaring, the baby's unswaddled, flailing, wiggling, screaming, and she's just like, what is going on? Because nobody's in there. Parents, not there. It's the night shift, so there's no visiting hours. And besides that fact, for a parent to be there, they had to ring a doorbell and show their wristband. So the baby's parents were not there. It was just the nursing staff, and nobody else had been in there but her. This nurse, Shelly, she believed in ghosts. I told y'all about the parents, but I don't think I told y'all about the TV. You know, in a hospital, the TVs, they're mounted up high. And to turn them on, you either gotta reach up and turn it on, or you gotta turn it on with the little remote that's in the bed, which they stick it to the wall behind the cribs that the babies are in, you know, because they don't want that in the crib with the baby. So there was no way for anyone to be turning this TV on or the lights, because the baby can't climb out of the crib and turn the lights on. Okay, so back to Shelly and her brave self. She believes in ghosts. And she wasn't having no ghost shenanigans. No, she wasn't. She turned that TV off. And before she turned the lights off, and y'all, there's always like a little night light in there, but before she turned the light off, she says very loudly and very sternly into the room, "Leave this baby alone. He needs his rest so that he can heal. He needs to sleep so that he can heal. Leave him alone." She said for the rest of the night. No TV, no lights. They did not come back on by themselves. That baby slept like a baby. The baby slept good. And she had asked the rest of the nursing staff, because you know that there weren't any parents there. So she asked the rest of the nursing staff, like, "Did y'all see anybody go in there?" And they're like, "No, nobody's been in there. That's your patient." So no. She told that ghost what to do and where he could stick it, pretty much. You go, Shelly. Because I probably would have thought it was a demon. Y'all know I would have thought it was a demon. Oh my God, there's a demon. We got to move this baby. Okay. So that is going to do it for part 2 of our paranormal series. I love ghost stories. If y'all have a ghost story, please tell it to me. Email me, DM me on Instagram, or leave me a comment. My email and my Instagram are in the description box. If you have a ghost story, I need to hear it. I need to know. Like, I cannot get enough of ghosty stuff. I love it. Love it. So, let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. And thank you again for watching. Love y'all. See y'all in the next video.